So, welcome to the new episode. This is episode 2. So, as you can see here, I'm in the Clown Dojo. We're going to be going over to the Tenno Lab and picking up the Arcwing Launcher segment, which will be the main progress and limiter of today. Beyond that, in this episode, we'll be going over some basic focus farms without the Arcwing Launcher, obviously, but we'll be trying to set up Deimos, Cetus, and Fortuna. We'll be doing some quests, and most of the stuff today will be progress injunctions, the objectives, and lots of mission completions. So I will try and go quite in depth into some of the systems that we'll be interacting with today, and generally just presenting the flow and the progress that I will accomplish today so that you can follow along as this series progresses. So here's the founder progress. You can get a grasp of the materials and the things we'll be crafting in the near future. So here we are on Cetus. We'll get started on the material grind in just a second. I'm gonna get sidetracked a little bit because I didn't realize that you could do the Kome quest quite that early. I'll show off her shop in just a second, and then we'll go right into the plains and get right down to it. This is the shop where you'd spend points that you acquire from doing the Kome mission. You can see there's a few weapons here, and of course the Kome Warframe. It's not something that we'll be doing at the moment though. So I'm going to talk here quite a bit about the materials that we're going to be collecting, and as I did more of the runs, I refined the path so it will be more optimal for you as you progress through the plains and collect these materials. As soon as you walk out of Cetus, you can look around with your tranquilizer gun, and you can look around with your mining drill, and you can collect things when you're not being focused by enemies in that regard. But we're primarily just going to be running around the plains for the Arcwing Launcher segment, which means that we're mostly just looking for Iridite and Grokdrul. So Iridite is located within foresty areas, and Grokdrul is located in Grenier encampments. Of course, don't forget when looking through Grenier encampments, the easiest way to find Grokdrul canisters is just by using the codex scanner, similar to how we've been looking for Neurodes and Morphics up until now. Also in the plains, because the bushes and the trees can block the view of the Iridite, you can use the same trick there. I recommend to pull out your trank gun every once in a while, that way you can also progress the Cetus standing itself for Ostron. And if you're located near rocky areas and the enemies are not attacking you, then of course you should pull out your drill, especially if you see a mining node, and just quickly mine it up. You can use the leftover gems to convert to standing, just in case you're lacking it sometime. And of course you'll require all the basic crafting materials for lots of different recipes, both on Cetus and in the future. The Nestle pods that are required to progress to rank 1 are located in mountainous areas, and I'll do a little highlight when I'm later showing the route that I've ended up refining. Generally speaking, I only really end up going there after I complete the main route. You get 5 Nestle pods per resource point, so you don't really need as many. Here's the actual route, so we walk out of the main gate. We're going to scan around, go up to the first Grenier camp, walk alongside the lake, down to the second Grenier camp, and then finally teleport to the Nestle pods in the mountainous region, should you desire that. Here I'm going to purchase the Fishing Spear. You can't really use the Fortuna Fishing Spear on Deimos, and that's what we'll be using it for. The actual fishing mechanics we can go into later. Of course, the luminescent dye being useful, and there's all kinds of baits and day and night cycle and everything else. Since I was lacking a little bit of standing, I'm going to trade in some of the gems that I mined for standing just to be able to purchase the final fishing spear. You could also see the different blueprints that you'll need for advanced crafting materials that the mined gems and minerals are refined into to actually use in blueprints to craft weapons and other things. Just a quick example of the standing that you get from capturing monsters on Cetus.
Female.
Okay, just a quick highlight here that bounties do contain very useful things like the Augur Secrets. Later we're also going to be farming the Revenant, a very useful frames for farming credits and many different other things. So just keep an eye out for what bounties are available. Just a quick clip there, as the day and night cycle on Cetus progresses, you should alter your route slightly and also start looking for Cetus Wisps. They spawn by the water's edge and they fly away as you approach them, so make sure if you spot them to pick them up quickly. You don't need to worry about Eidolons or Vumbalists at this moment. They aren't really even dangerous to you as long as you keep moving. Later on we'll be coming back to Cetus to do something similar, but mostly farming Vumbalists and Eidolons for progress purposes. Here you can see that I've ranked up my standing with the Ostrons, and I'm going to pick Copper Ally as the reward. This is just going to save me some standing in the long run. Okay, moving on from Cetus now. Here you can see that I've completed all the different materials for the Archwing segment. Now we're just missing the Oxium, and there's a few different ways to farm it. One of which being the defense mission to Sarah. There's lots of new players doing it all the time, up to 10 waves, since it's a requirement for a junction. You get about 80-ish per run. The better methods of farming it would be through bounties, such as doing the Cetus bounty or the Fortuna bounty. However, those rewards rotate every few hours, so the Oxium reward might not be guaranteed. And in regards to the reward structure, in Warframe, the Oxium is rewarded on rotation A, which you get for completing the first part of the bounty. So as soon as you've done that, you should leave and reset the mission if you're just farming for the Oxium. Of course, there are many other good rewards within the bounty, so you probably should complete it every once in a while, especially if you're doing it for a specific Warframe or farming it for Augur Secrets or other frames or mods that are useful. So since the Oxium was not available at that current time of day, I decided to move on and do some mission unlocks towards junctions. Here I'm going to play a simple sabotage mission. Feel free to watch it or you can skip ahead.
Your target is this location's computer system. Find and access the terminals. We need to destroy the reactor. The reactor will have tight security. Watch out for enemy patrols. Target found. Destroy it. Target destroyed. Proceed to the extraction point. Another job well executed.
Here we have the fight Lech Krill. Fight's pretty simple. You wait for him to do a downward motion swing with his hammer. You will then see his backpack glows blue. Then you have to hit his backpack. In this case I'm using a slam attack since it's an area attack, it will hit the backpack. You will repeat that until he becomes vulnerable, and then you'll finally be able to damage his health bar, and you'll kill him and you'll escape the mission.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
As you can see here, early game endo is a struggle. I'm trying to max out my killing blow here since we're mostly using the heavy attack slam, and the element of choice will be toxin. You can also go for heat, but toxin will be significantly better later on since we'll be fighting a lot of corpus enemies, and toxin damage bypasses shields, so it'll help us defeat those enemies since they'll be stronger than most of the enemies we'll be fighting.
You received our distress signal.
At long last, we've arrived on Deimos. This will be a very important open world, both towards endgame progression and just in general. There's a lot of different unlocks here. You have to be very careful if you're playing mag or still not using any defensive mods. If you are progressing very fast like me, you will not really have any endo. As previously stated in the weapon section, toxin damage bypasses shields, and infested enemies do toxin damage, so you have to be very careful with green clouds, toxin clouds. They can kill you very quickly. Just like on every other open world, the first thing we'll be doing is the initial quest that they start you out with. Then I'll explain all the different things that you can do here and what it is that we're looking to get out of this place for now. Then later in the game we'll be coming back here for different reasons. Just a quick movement tip here in the Necromech. You can dash mid-jump, and then that prevents you from doing a hard landing, and then you can jump out of the dash and just repeat that. Now that I'm finished with the quest, let's talk about all the different NPCs in this area. So the grandmother is used to convert tokens for standing, similar to how you can use mining materials and other things on other planets. On these planets you gain favor with the NPCs and you use their tokens to convert to standing. The father, he specializes in creating weapons, and from him we'll be purchasing the Spore Laser. You can also notice here in the shop that he sells the damaged necromod pods. You will need that later to build your own necromech as part of the story progression. The daughter helps us with fishing. From her we'll be purchasing the spear that can pierce coagulated blood. As you've probably noticed, fishing is a little bit different on Deimos. The son specializes in animal capture. Different from other animal capture, you can get some of the animals as pets for yourself. The main thing that we'll be focusing from his shop is the helmet segment, and then the other helmet invigorating segment. And then finally the mother, who is providing the bounties in this open world. The best way to get standing on Deimos is to do about 3 bounties for mother on highest difficulty. Then you turn it in, that's about 250 tokens or something like that, but you get 350, so you'll eventually get more than you need, and you can sometimes skip a day and max out your standing anyway.
I wonder what we teach us on our friend. Have you? They breed some.
Okay, so I haven't purchased most of everything that we needed from Deimos. Now I'm moving on to junction progression, and we're going to be visiting Maru for the next junction. It's worth noting that Maru has a weekly mission for an Ayaton sculpture. Ayaton sculptures will be your primary way of acquiring Endo early on, so I highly recommend doing that mission whenever it's available.
Okay, you know the drill. Get in. Get the Iatan treasure. Don't get killed. Simple, right? I stumbled across an Orokin codex that said this tower was known for its beautiful Iatan treasures. Unfortunately for you, it was also known for its deadly security apparatus. Well, this should be fun. Maybe you should stretch first. You know, limber up. My, oh my, I think you found it. Ha! You've got it! Now bring it home!
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Going to go over quickly here of how Ayaton sculptures work. Generally speaking, each Ayaton sculpture has a certain value of Endo attached to it. By putting stars into it, you increase the cost up to a maximum. So I highly recommend putting stars into your sculptures before converting them into Endo. Otherwise, they're basically just a fifth of the value. So now there's an extra incentive to look out for stars throughout the missions and just keep an eye out for it. The next junction requirement are void relics. So now I'm going to go over void relics. So you simply pick a void relic that you want to run. If you're looking to get a certain primed frame or weapon, whatever it is that you're going for, then you have to have the relics of the correct type. Then you're going to go and pick a Void Fisher mission that you can do. Obviously, if you can't do it, you should go and unlock that node. That's always useful. Now that I've done all the requirements, I'm going to quickly clear this junction. With the new junction done, now I have access to Stolen Dreams. It's a useful side quest. It gives reactors a reward and also does a few missions on Phobos, which we will be going to anyway.
This is unacceptable.
Before that, I realized that my daily mastery cooldown has been reset, so I'm going to finish this mastery rank up.
Is now complete.
And now with that finished, we can move on to other things. Now that the rotation for the bounty has changed, we have Oxium on it again, and I'm going to be running it until I have enough Oxium for the Arcwing segment. I'm going to do 2 runs back to back just so you have an idea of what it looks like. It'll of course be on triple speed just so you don't have to watch the entire thing. So feel free to skip ahead if you feel confident and know what you're doing. And there we go, the main goal for the video has been accomplished. Everything from this point on will just be junction unlocks. We'll primarily be going to Uranus. That's where most of the story quests will start to appear for the first time. Alright, and this is the last junction of the video. This is the Saturn junction. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be continuing this journey in the next video, of course. And as I said before, our main goal is to try and reach Uranus, where all of the story quests for the game start. As soon as we'll finish that, the game really opens up with lots of different content and lots of interesting things to do. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and share the video with your friends. Otherwise, see you next time.